This video will discuss the discriminant. The formula is b squared minus 4ac. So you have three different rules that we're going to use. If our answer is greater than 0, meaning that it's a positive number, you're going to have two distinct real solutions. If our answer is exactly 0, that means you're going to have one distinct real solution. And if our answer is less than 0, meaning it's a negative number, you're going to have two imaginary solutions. And sometimes you will see the word or the terminology non-real, means imaginary, okay? You still have to recall your standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And notice that the a and b are coefficients, meaning they're numbers only. And so is c. C is a constant, and that's a number that does not have a variable. So the coefficients have a variable, but when I ask for a and b, I only want the number because that's what a coefficient is. Your quadratic formula, the only reason that I'm including this in this video is just to let you know where your discriminant is coming from. So the highlighted part is your discriminant, b squared minus 4 times ac. Do not take the square root of your answer. I only want the portion that's under the radical. So for example 1, first thing we want to do is put it in standard form. So let's go ahead and do that by taking this -6 and moving it to the opposite side. And when we do that, we have to change the sign. So basically we're going to be adding 6 to both. And what's left over is -4x squared plus 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now what I want to do is identify my a, b, and c. A is what's in front of my x squared term, so it's -4. B is what's in front of my x term, including the sign, so that one is +4. And my c is going to be the constant, and that is -1. So now, just to bring back to your memory what the formula is, I'm just going to substitute. So for b is 4, and I'm asked to square it, -4, which is part of my formula, times a, which is -4. I'm getting that information from over here. And then times c, which is -1. So 4 squared is simply 4 times 4, which is 16. And now over here, all three of these are going to be multiplied times each other. So you want to keep up with the signs as well. So -4 times -4 is +16. +16 times -1 is going to be -16. So now when I simplify this, 16 minus 16 is simply 0. Well, if I recall, my rule says that if I get the answer of exactly 0, then I'm going to have one distinct real solution. You don't have to write distinct, but just know that if it's multiple choice, you may see that wording. So this is my answer. When you give the answer, I want both the actual answer, which in this case was 0, and I want you to state the number and type of solution that you're going to have, okay? So I'm looking for three things. Going on to example 2. Again, it's not in standard form, so I want to move that 8 that's on the opposite side of the equal sign over to the right by taking the inverse. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides, which leaves me with -2p squared plus 8p. And I notice that my 8 minus 8, it goes away. And on the other side, I'm left with a 0. So now identifying my a, I have -2. My b is 8. And since c is not there, it's understood to be a 0. So I'm just going to substitute into my formula. B squared, so that's 8 squared minus 4, that's part of my formula, times a, which is -2, times c, which is 0. Well, over on this side, if I ever see a 0, I automatically know that entire side is going to just go away because 0 times anything is 0, right? So 8 times 0 is 0. So all of that goes away, and I'm just left with 8 squared, which is 64. Again, if I were to go back and look at my rules, and I see that my answer is greater than 0 because it's a positive number. So therefore, I'm going to have two distinct real solutions. let's just write 2 out so we don't get confused here. So 2 distinct real solutions. And like I said, I'm looking for the answer, how many, and what type. And finally, for example 3, I'm going to take this -9 and I'm going to move it to the opposite side, which will leave me with 2m squared minus 7m. And I don't have anything to combine it with, so it's just +9 equals 0. I'm identifying my A as 2, B is -7, and C is +9. I'm going to take B and I'm going to square it. Anytime I have a negative number squared, it will be a positive answer. And then minus 4 times A times C. So -7 squared is -7 times -7, which is +49. Over here, when I multiply all of those together, I see I have a negative. So -4 times 2 is -8. -8 times 9 is -72. Well, I can clearly see that the negative sign goes with a bigger number, so I know I'm going to end up with a negative answer. So 49 minus 72 is -23. My rule says that if I have a negative number or a number that's less than 0, I am going to have 2 imaginary solutions. And another word for imaginary that you will see is non-real, because it's not real. Okay, so those are the examples I want to show you today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. Have an awesome one.